Welcome. This is the podcast series that we're doing, Stories from the Fire. We're interviewing different families within the church who were affected by the Eaton Fires in January 2025. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be interviewing Anna Kalinka and David Knott and hearing their story of their home surviving through the fires and what that process has been. So join us as we step into their journey, and we're able to pray and lift them up in this season. Thanks for joining us.
So this is that map we were talking about. It really shows you the magnitude of the event. People are aware of it, but when you see this, it really kind of drives it home that the fire started over here.
Yeah.
But took out all of these homes. And then our house is right there. And the house that we saw at 3 a.m. on fire was right there. So that's what we saw when we had to scramble and get out of here.
And you can see that we have that pocket and everything around just burned.
Yeah, look, this.
It's devastating.
This is that bubble of protection that we were praying for.
Well, and again, the Altadena Elementary School was just allowed the embers to die.
Yeah.
And then Santa Rosa has the deodara trees.
Yeah, right here. And I think when you're faced with looking at this, it can be so overwhelming, and we can look for meaning in the face of something like this. And a lot of times you'll hear that phrase, everything happens for a reason. That one really doesn't wash with me, but I think you can think of it more like everything happens. And then, what is our response to that? And I think that's how God works in these situations that are so scary and so overwhelming. They're still scary and overwhelming, but where God works is like how we help each other get through those situations, right? Yeah.
Hello, Anna and David. So glad to have you guys here. So we're just going to talk through bits and pieces of your story when it comes to the Eaton Fire. If you want to just start off with what that day or that week or that month or months surrounding kind of felt like for you, kind of take us in a little bit to your story.
Yeah, I mean, I can start with a little bit of it where a few days prior to the actual January 7th fire, we had started hearing rumblings about this wind event that was going to happen. And it was really still at that time. So I'm like, okay, I don't think anything's going to happen. Maybe take down the wind chimes, right? Something minor. And Dave's like, no, I keep hearing something that, something bad's going to happen. Yeah. And so I tell you this part because I wasn't able to sleep. So for 2 days prior, I was already kind of anxious about this wind event that was coming up. And so that day, January 7th, I was at work and I walked to my work because I work at the library. And I remember coming home and the wind was just intense that day. Yeah. And at the bottom of our street, there was already a fire truck there because there was already a fire prior to the Eaton Canyon fire.
Oh, wow.
An ADU had caught on fire from one of the distribution lines from the power company.
Oh.
And so I had already started having this concern happening. And then I get inside and I turn on the television and it's the Palisades fire. So now I'm really in this heightened mode. And we're like, oh, should we start packing?
Yeah.
And this was 3 o'clock maybe in the afternoon, 3:30.
Right. And I was working at home.
Right.
And in the late afternoon, I got a call from a friend, my friend Bill, who I worked with. And he asked me if I was packing yet. And I said, no, why am I packing? And he sent me a screenshot of watch duty, and Eaton Fire was at 10 acres. So it had just started.
Oh, wow.
And we lived through the station fire, which was right above us. And, we got a lot of smoke and the wind was blowing right down into our neighborhood. But, there was no houses that caught on fire. So Eaton's a good 3-4 miles east of us. And we figured, no, we'll be good.
Yeah.
But then we talked about it, and considering the 1 or 2 days of wind prior to this, we thought we better pack just to be safe. We have the time, we better use it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to take a good 2 hours to pack, both of us, both our cars, get Cleo, our cat, ready, and just wait for the evacuation order.
Well, and during that time, it was just really windy. Things were blowing around. So it was getting more and more dramatic as we were going. And in this process, it wasn't quite like, okay, well, let's just pack. It was like, okay, maybe we should pack, maybe we shouldn't. And so there's a lot of concern about it. We weren't getting any real information from anybody. And then like 6:30, my friend texted and said, hey, Eaton, there's a fire in Eaton Canyon. Did you hear? And I'm like, no. And so that's when I like really started getting a bit more anxious about it. And because I'm just type A personality, and it was like January, the beginning of the year, right? So I had gone through all of my drawers and I cleaned everything. So I'm like, okay, this is coming with me. This is coming with me. It was like this ridiculous kind of packing situation, but I was able to get some, but I was able to get things, you know, together. And then as the I don't know, the day just kind of kept progressing, and everything was getting more anxious, and I was getting more texts from people. And then all of a sudden our daughter's, like, who is in Oregon, she starts texting me, and she's like, Mom, are you leaving? Like, Altadena is on fire. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it was smoky, but we didn't know. And she's like, yeah, like the Altadena golf course is on fire. And I'm like, what? And so we start panicking, and we're trying to find hotels at that point. And we can't get anything. It's all through apps. So we're like, okay, well, we just got to go. Like, just let's get in our car and just start driving. And at this point now it's like, you know, 7:30, maybe 8 at night. We had been talking to our neighbors. They weren't evacuating yet, but power lines, we still had power, but the entire street was filled with debris.
We figured we just had to go south, maybe to Huntington, and then it'd be fine. No. Even at Huntington, there were pockets of no power. There were full branches in the street way down there. There were cars that had collided in various intersections, and they just left them. It was chaos.
It was utter chaos.
And my poor cat was in a carrier next to me, and she was not happy.
So we were in 2 separate cars driving, and you can barely see, actually. And so we kind of got further down. We're headed towards Alhambra, San Gabriel, just trying to get out and not really sure where we're going. And we can't get a signal either. And so then finally we pull up into
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's in South Pasadena, the parking lot. And I can't even breathe. Like we tried to get out of the car to talk to each other, and the smoke was so thick.
Even in South
And
Pasadena.
I'm like shaking, I'm in tears, we don't know what to do.
And remember, she hadn't had sleep in a couple
I'm
days because the
exhausted.
wind was pretty strong for 2 days straight.
That's intense.
So I'm exhausted at this point, and then David's like, wait, I think I found a place up here. We found a hotel in Pasadena.
Old Town,
Old Town. So we're like, okay, well, let's just go up there, because simultaneously we were getting texts actually from you or from Vintage going, okay, we've opened the church. And then also that Pasadena Convention Center was also open and available. And so we had a brief discussion about that, and we're like, okay, well, if we can get a hotel, because we're still thinking, you know, it'll be 2 days. Like,
and the convention center was not an option because they wouldn't allow pets inside. They would then put them in the Humane Society to board them, and we didn't want to be separated from Theo.
So it was.
So we got this hotel. At least I thought I did. We showed up, parked, went into the lobby, and we're there with this huge line of people waiting to check in, and you start hearing the rumble as people get turned away because they've overbooked. And it just makes its way down the line. And I had to break it to Anna. It's like, we're not getting a room here.
Which, you know, honestly, I'm surprised that the hotel, like the smoke detectors weren't going off, because it was so smoky in the hotel as well,
Even in
right?
the hotel.
Pretty crazy. And so we're talking about it, and we're trying to like get another hotel somewhere, but it's on the app. And so now it's like 11:30 at night, and you can't do it for that night. They're thinking you're booking for the next day. And so we couldn't get anything. So we didn't want to risk it again and drive somewhere. So foolishly, I'm like, okay,
This
our
is crazy.
power is still on. Let's go home.
And
I need like 2 hours of sleep at least, Dave.
And the key was, we checked the evacuation orders. We did not receive an evacuation order yet. East of Lake, yes. We're 2 blocks west of Lake. So pretty close to Lake, but we're still not in an order to evacuate yet. So we took that on face value, and we decided to go home.
So as we're driving up, wind.
The closer we got,
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
You could see the fire.
In hindsight, it was just so foolish. It
could
was a waterfall of fire.
You could see the fire on the hill right above the deodars of Christmas Tree Lane, and it looked like we were going back into Mordor. It was, it's like, what are we doing? But okay, no evacuation order. Let's just
We
get
were
a couple
trusting
winks
the
of sleep,
system, right? I
and then
know.
we'll go when they tell us.
Yeah, so we get up and our neighbors hadn't evacuated yet either.
Okay, yeah.
So we're like, okay, and our
Yeah.
power was still on at that point. So we get in, it's like 11:30, almost 12 at night. And I'm like, Dave, I just need a couple of hours of sleep. Can you stay in the front room, make sure embers, like the embers that are falling, are not actually catching fire? Like
Yeah.
that's how insane it was.
There were
That is
chunks
insane.
that were falling in the street. There were
And
embers.
So I literally go into the bedroom and I just put the covers over my head and I'm just like, Lord, please. And this is the interesting part though also is because with my prayers for all of this, honestly, I grew up Catholic, so it was very prescriptive prayers, right?
Yeah.
You kind of had a script for your prayer. But we had just done the community group, the Novo activating prayer, literally that fall. And it had just ended like 2 weeks prior. So I had very specific like spiritual authority prayer that I had just learned. And so I felt very confident in my prayer. So instead of just like, under the covers going, please God, please God, please God. No, I had really specific things I was praying for, this like this pyramid and dome of protection.
It changed. It was a dome, it was a bubble, but it was a protective area that she didn't ask for. She said, no.
This is
I
happening.
declare a bubble of
Oh, I
safety
love
over
that.
this neighborhood.
Yeah.
That was the thing we learned. You don't ask because it puts you in this like kind of small space. Instead, you channel the power of Jesus and say like, no, this is going to be a protective area.
Yeah.
Our neighborhood is going to be safe. Our house is going to be safe.
And again, it was the wind. So who knows? Because I definitely believed in the declarative prayer, but
Yeah.
it's the wind just also kind of did its own crazy thing. It was shifting. The embers were shifting.
Yeah.
But during that time, there was a weird calmness. There's a lot of fear, but there was also a calmness. And then it was like 2:33 in the morning, and I went and got Dave, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe you should get a couple of night, like a little bit of
We
sleep
lost
as well.
power at midnight, by the way.
So
Okay.
he comes into bed, and so I don't know. We're just kind of in and out of sleep. But then this is when it gets very dramatic, where all of a sudden I feel like we have a cat. The cat, Cleo, jumped up. I was on my side, and she jumped up on my shoulder. And she never comes to me. She always goes to Dave.
So yeah,
always.
the context is she usually sleeps on me, but only if I'm on my back. So she has a nice flat bed to sleep on.
You can
If
sleep
I'm-
with.
I
That's so-
sleep like a
okay.
vampire.
I
It's
love
like-
it. That's
And so
awesome.
she loves that and sleeps like that. If I roll on my side, it's not enough, and she jumps down.
Yeah.
So that's gives you good context
Yeah.
of why this is weird.
Okay.
So she was sleeping on her side.
So she
that's
comes up.
strange
So,
already.
so
That is
Cleo
strange.
comes up and starts nudging me, literally on my shoulder like this.
Oh.
And I bumped her, and she wouldn't get off of me.
And usually
And
that'll send her running.
She like literally was like with her little paw,
So
like kept like bumping me. And so finally I like opened my eyes. When I opened it, it was like the room was orange, and there's just a wall of fire behind us.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, David, we gotta go. We got to go now. Like not now.
Yeah.
We could,
Like it was
our
an urgency.
backyard abuts the Altadena Elementary School,
Okay.
and there's a playground, and then like we could see through the wisteria vine to a house that was on fire.
Oh my goodness.
And
Yeah.
it's like 3-4 houses away.
Yeah, and above, well, we didn't realize it, but above us was on fire, below us was on fire. We were
Calaveras
just like,
is-
this whole area
Yeah.
was on fire. And so I'm like, David, we gotta go. And so we jump up. Of course, that scares Cleo.
Yeah.
And so Cleo runs off.
Runs and
And
hides.
we have this like converted attic. So I went upstairs just to try to get a better view of like where the fire was.
Yeah.
And couldn't really see too much because it was like dark and windy and just so
Right.
chaotic.
And in that moment, you don't know what's up or down. So you're like, what do I do? I'm running around the house and
Yeah.
I don't
And
know what I'm.
to make it worse,
Yeah.
I had put batteries in one flashlight. And when you're trying to like trade flashlights back and forth, and we had only one bag, everything else was in the car.
Oh my
But
goodness.
you ever do a flashlight near a campfire? It looks like a lightsaber.
Yeah.
So we got this lightsaber light beam going back and forth. It's like a strobe light going on, which makes it even more chaotic and confusing
yeah.
and more scary
And
for
you've
a
been
cat.
like woken up, so you're like not in the right headspace.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
disoriented.
It's
There's
crazy.
smoke everywhere.
Did you actually sleep that night or like when you were there?
I did a little bit just because
Yeah.
I was so incredibly exhausted because I hadn't slept for, a few days prior. It was really
Yeah.
broken sleep, and my body was just literally so drained.
Mhm.
And Anytime you have that anxiety too
Mhm.
and fear, the adrenaline you can only sustain it so long.
Yeah.
And then the body just collapses. So
And then-
that's where I kind of was in that like weird hazy state. But then you get very alert. We're like, oh my gosh, we have got
Yeah.
to go right now.
As soon as we saw that fire, we got a fresh injection of adrenaline, and you instantly start shaking. And
So, but at this point, we still haven't gotten an evacuation notice. Please know that. So,
That's crazy.
no evacuation notice. And I'm like, okay, we've got to go now. So we're gathering everything up. And then David's like, where's Cleo? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, let's look. So we're looking through the rooms. Meanwhile, coming up the road is now a firefighter with his bullhorn,
loudspeaker.
the bullhorn going, okay, a fast moving fire, evacuate now. And so
Okay.
we're starting to hear this. And I'm like, David, we
It's
have
like-
got to go.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
I can't, we got to find Cleo. I'm like,
Yeah.
David, I don't
I
know.
know.
Like the fire's right here. The firefighter is telling us to leave. We can't find the cat. And so David's
So
like,
I
I'm
just-
not leaving without him. And so he's getting teary-eyed. I'm getting really freaked out.
Yeah. So I just
And-
said, okay, get in the car. We have 2 cars. Get ready to go. I'm going to make a sweep of the house. So I took the one flashlight and I started from the back and I checked all our hidey holes. There's closets, under beds, soft, cozy spots. Not here, close the door. Did that for every room, go to the front of the house, still couldn't find her. And now I'm freaking out. I'm facing the fact that I might have to leave my cat. And I grew up with pets and I just, I mean, everybody loves their pet, but I was starting to
Right,
freak
yeah.
out. And
course.
I literally screamed her name, Cleo. And I hear this, wow, right next to my head. And so that attic has a corkscrew stairs and the door was still open and she was perched on a step right next to me where I was in the hall.
Yeah.
And I just instinctively grabbed her,
Yeah.
stuffed her in the cat carrier, zipped it up, and out we went.
So then we're driving to his friend's house now in Burbank.
Who
and we're
had,
like,
the guy that called me earlier, he said, if worst comes to worst, come anytime. We'll take you in. So that lodged in my head and I'm like,
So
let's
we're-
go there.
leaving and like dodging fallen branches.
That are on fire in the middle of the street.
Power's out. It was really very, very chaotic. And David is driving very slow because his adrenaline is so high. And we get on the freeway,
And I'm
the
like
210.
So it,
talking to Cleo.
translates to
I have
slower?
Cleo.
Yeah,
I would be
somehow
the
that one. I
opposite.
know. I
But-
was the opposite.
So I have Cleo in the seat next
Yeah.
to me, and I'm like, "It's okay, Cleo. We'll be okay. Oh, our house is gone.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Cleo. I'm trying to reassure her, but
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to reassure myself. And meanwhile, I'm going like 40 miles an hour on the freeway.
On the freeway. I'm like, oh my gosh, we survived a fire, but we're going to die on the freeway now.
Because
This
now
is
it's like
crazy.
5 o'clock, so all the early commuters
Yeah.
are just going.
Flying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which was
yeah.
very weird too, I gotta
is
say, just
weird.
leaving like such chaos and then you're driving away from it, like the apocalypse, and everybody's on
And
their
just
normal
life is normal.
morning
Yeah.
Yeah.
commute.
Yeah.
That which was very surreal and
Yeah.
very strange.
It was
I
kind of
gotta
the
say.
first hint we got of this, like when you're in the disaster zone, you feel like everybody knows about it and everybody's experiencing this.
Yeah.
As soon as you get out, no, they're having their normal lives and they're hearing about it with like headlines or
Yeah.
clips on TV.
Yeah.
And no, they don't have the same experience.
That's
And-
like, it's so real because I remember like even the weeks after that where I was like, my whole world is still here and everyone has moved on. And it was incredibly hard
Yeah.
because almost like within me, I tried to do it where I was like, no, it's
Yeah.
fine. But then you're like, no, it's not. So
That's
then you
so
keep
true.
kind of getting pulled back in, but you're like, but they're fine.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
It's real.
Altadena is not a pass-through neighborhood. You have to
Yeah.
go there with intention. You
Yeah.
either go there,
It's on
do
the top.
something, live
Mhm.
there, or have dinner there, and then you leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're not like driving through and going, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, and the last part to the evacuation story is that as we're on the freeway,
yeah.
5:20 in the morning, I finally get an evacuation notice.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's like at 5:23 in the morning.
Wow.
So again, this trusting the system didn't necessarily work for us on that one.
No. Yeah. I think anything, what is it? Yeah. West of Lake. I don't think that there was
Right.
Yeah.
any warnings that were appropriate to what they should have been.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really hard. What is like throughout this whole process? So I already know, but just like so your house miraculously survived. Your little neighborhood is still there, whether or not it's because of the Christmas trees or if it's
The playground.
The playground
The
behind us
playground.
too. Yeah,
It's
because
the
yes,
open
you did.
space
Yeah.
helped
Yeah.
a lot.
yeah, I
Or
think
some
the
decorative
embers.
prayers.
Yeah,
Over,
I think all of
over.
it.
you
All
know,
of it.
yeah. Who knows?
I think that's like a really important story to hear in this whole process. So you're our first like podcast story that we've had that your house is standing. So I think if you don't mind, like walk us through a little bit of that like process for you guys. Like you can pick wherever you want to start with it, like where you are now, where you were at the beginning. But I know there was so much involved in, just wanted to give people an idea of what that process has been for you. The highs, the lows,
Yeah.
Well, I can, let me just jump in very quickly because David did the majority of it, because once we had gotten to his friend's house, it started really hitting me what was happening. And there's so much uncertainty. There's still uncertainty today, Carla. Like there's just so much that we don't know. And at that moment, we really didn't know. We didn't know if our house was okay, if Altadena was okay. We had no idea. And I started getting really depressed. And so I went into where we were staying, which was essentially an air mattress. I was on an air mattress. And I just literally, again, put the covers over my head and just kept praying for this like cone of protection over our area, over the whole area. And just started sinking into a bit of a depression. And so, you know, there were moments of hope because we had a couple of days still where we were getting mixed messages. Like we were getting messages like, no, the home is burned. No, it's okay. It was just back and forth. So it was very, very chaotic. So David graciously, you know, you have like the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. You have those four.
Yeah.
I was definitely flight. And he was fight.
Yeah. So I just, the way I work in a crisis is like, what are the steps that I can take to get me through this? Like, so I would just one at a time, I can do this, I can do this. Yeah. But in the first like 24, 48 hours while we're at Bill's house, so he has a finished garage that he turned into a home theater, which is nice, but we're still on an air mattress in one room that's like 20 by 20 with a cat.
But we only thought we were going to be there for a few days, right? So I mean, that was it. That was the initial thing. So just kind of skipping through all that is that it was not supposed to be forever.
Yeah.
And then we realized very quickly it was going to be a lot longer because we couldn't get into our house.
Well,
it was first
before that, we didn't know whether a house survived.
Well, that's what I was saying.
And you know, so we were starting to get reports of friends that had lost their homes, and you know, we all started checking in on each other. It's like, is your house safe? No. So we still didn't know. And then we got a report from one of our daughter's friends who they said, we have video and we're really sorry your house didn't make it. And so we're teary-eyed, like, let's just look at the video and say goodbye.
Yeah.
And quickly we saw it was a dash cam video, and they missed our road. They drove right past it. And Anna, this is not Catherine Road. This is not our road. So we don't know yet. We still have hope.
Yeah.
And so in the depths of despair, we're still grasping onto hope again.
Yep.
And then a little later that day, one of our friends, our other friends, it's a fire captain, he could get past the police and sent us a snap of our home, and it looked like any other day.
Wow.
And we had tears of relief.
Ochre. It was like ochre sky and everything.
The sky was, but
smoky.
The
But
grass was still green. The tree was still green. It was the weirdest thing. But we
But we
found out our
couldn't-
house made it.
yeah, but we couldn't get up to it either, for as you know, because it was first the police officers were blocking and barricading, and then the National Guard came in, and it would be weeks, literally, before you could even get in. And you know, during that time, we just didn't even know what was happening to the house. I know that looters were going up there. So yes, our house was there, but we didn't know the condition of it.
Right.
We didn't know if there's looters going inside of it. And then this is crazy, which I know some people can relate to this one, but one of my greatest concern is like, I had bought a lot of fish, like literally the day prior to the fire. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the refrigerator and the freezer is going to be disgusting. And like the fish smell. It was, but it's so funny. Like that
even
is
with
where,
like this massive, you know,
because it was just something tangible I could worry about. I mean, because you know, I was worrying about all these other things, but like, okay, fish in the refrigerator.
So that was my first task, is to get past the National Guard with my,
To get the
To
fish
throw the fish
HEPA filter mask on and just like get a hefty garbage bag and just dump
It
everything
was
into it. and
so
get it out.
ridiculous. But you
Like,
trying
okay,
to
done.
control anything, anything that you control.
Yeah.
In that moment, you were just trying to do.
Yeah, did you guys play this game? Because I know for a lot of people whose homes survived, there was the constant, like, we're going to be back in a week, we're going to be back in 3 weeks, we're going to be back in 2 weeks.
Well,
Like,
you know, I fled. I went to my sister's because I realized that I didn't have a purpose. My work was
Right.
in Altadena, so I couldn't go to work. He could still continue working, and I was just staying in this like suspended state
yeah.
of, you know, anxiety, depression, and uncertainty. And
Yeah.
I do remember within the very first couple of days, though, I'm like, I need church, I need chocolate, and I need Carla.
Oh.
Not necessarily in that order, but
Yeah.
those are the three
So
things I
true.
needed.
She said
And I
that.
do remember, like, before I
Yeah.
fled,
Yeah.
I'm like, we've got to go to church. And I
Yeah.
remember you opening the side door, and just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the hug was just,
Mhm.
just
I
melted.
still remember it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was, I am very appreciative of Vintage Church because you
Oh my
guys opened the
gosh.
doors immediately. So
It was,
that's just not our story. I think that's everybody's
Yeah.
story because we had nothing except, yes, I
Yeah.
packed all these things, but we didn't have
you
anything
go through
else.
those quickly.
Yeah.
And then people are
Oh,
like,
yeah.
didn't you wear that a couple days ago?
Oh, I didn't.
Yes.
That was so secondary. It was just like blankets, and I mean, we just didn't have
Yeah.
anything
No,
really.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's super real. What is let's talk a little bit about the process if you're okay to share. I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of probably cleaning that you did individually,
Multiple
probably with the
times.
company.
Yeah.
What was the timeline of like you got back into your home and you felt safe in your home, you didn't feel safe in your home, all of those little pieces.
Yeah, we got back in on March 1st.
Yeah,
So we were
just-
at Bill's, and then we're at an Airbnb. I was with my sister for 3 weeks in Michigan.
Yeah.
And then we got in March 1st into our house again.
Which
Was
we
a whole
found out
process in and
was
of itself.
really early.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like we're just in the last couple of months, people have finally been moving into our neighborhood and doing
10
what we
months
did
later.
back in February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, remember me being actively doing steps to get through this process helped me. So I was instantly on the insurance claim, working that became my second full-time job.
Yeah. Wow.
And then, finding the Airbnb before we got back into our house, and then getting the remediation that took good 3 to 6 weeks to do with
Yeah.
various contractors.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, then we found out the insulation that they took out of our house, they were going to replace, but they couldn't because we had 100-year-old wiring.
Oh
And
my
that
goodness.
needed to be redone out of pocket
Wow.
because
Yeah, insurance would cover it.
the electrical was
Oh.
not damaged by the fire, but it made putting insulation back on top of it a fire hazard. So we needed to
Yeah.
fix that.
It's all these little bits and bobs. That
One
you don't
job
think
just,
about.
the more you get into it, just expands to this, and then
Yeah.
this, and then this, and then this, and it
Yeah.
becomes really overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially when you can't get a hold of your insurance adjuster. I was making trips to the disaster center multiple times a week just to get
Yeah.
information and what I
Yeah.
do next.
Yeah.
I had a
And-
notebook that I filled
Yeah.
up with, it became my journal about like what I need to do, what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, saving all the receipts. But what happened too is when during the remediation part, when we weren't living there yet in it, they started taking out the insulation and, like Dave said, and then they took all of our soft goods. So everything, they just scooped it up. So anything that was a soft good, they took. And so when we got back into our house, we didn't have anything. We had
Yeah.
no soft goods. We had
Yeah.
nothing. We didn't have bedding.
Yeah.
We didn't have curtains.
No window
we
treatments.
we didn't have water really. So the water was running, but we couldn't use it
Yeah.
at all
Yeah.
because of the
Benzene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had seeped into the water supply for Rubio Canyon Water, which is our
Yeah.
company, and the only way to get it out is to flush it and flush it and flush it till it comes within the safe level. Well, that took a good month while we were still at home.
Yeah,
so,
probably 3.5 weeks because we couldn't then wash clothes either. You could
Mhm.
wash them in cold water, but then you couldn't dry them because then the
Oh,
heat
yeah,
would
yeah.
release the benzene.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also hot
cold,
showers.
yeah, so it was like cold
Had to take cold
showers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was
So we were
bottled
like camping in our
water.
house for a month.
Yeah.
it
Oh my
was-
goodness.
yeah.
And what did it feel like being in there? Because I'm assuming you were one of the only people back?
We
or-
did have neighbors on each side of
Yeah.
us.
Okay,
So
good.
everything else was eerie and
Yeah.
apocalyptic.
Yeah.
It was like the two neighbors, us and the owls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And that was
owls
about
have come
it.
back strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They sing us to sleep every night.
we
So nice.
created a nice community amongst like
Yeah.
our immediate
neighbors.
neighbors.
Yeah.
But no one else was in at all. And so,
So if
it
we
was
just looked out the
eerie.
window this direction, everything looked fine. But you look down here, it's like open
Destroyed.
lots.
Just
Yeah.
destroyed. It was all destroyed.
Yeah.
It wasn't open at that point.
Wow.
Because it took a really long time for I can't say a long time because the Army Corps of Engineers, phenomenal. I
Yeah.
cannot say enough good things about them.
Yeah.
They really came in and cleaned the debris quickly.
Yeah.
However, they were using the street at the bottom to line up all the trucks.
Oh yeah.
And then behind us at that playground, they were using that as a staging area at night to put all the trucks there as well. So not only were we surrounded by burned out lots, but now we're surrounded by these
3-ton trucks.
trucks.
And they're making daily trips to the golf course, which is where all the debris went to get
And
processed.
just up and down our area. So now the streets are kind of broken because
Potholes.
all the potholes because
They're not
can't
meant
hold
for
it.
that kind
Yeah.
of traffic.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And so just that
Sure.
process alone, living through it, was really hard. There's like a huge part that we're so grateful.
Yeah.
We had a bit of survivor's guilt also.
Yeah.
And
I know. And it's hard to, like, when the electrical work was done, because we have an old house with lath and plaster walls,
Mhm.
you can't just send wires from the attic and the crawl space. They have to punch holes in the walls to get the wires. So we had like 25 holes in the wall when they
Yeah.
were done. And every day, in order to live there, when the electricians went home, we cleaned the floors. So we weren't
'cause there's
tracking
plaster everywhere
dust
too.
everywhere. And, it gets old pretty fast. But
It
again,
does.
you're just like, okay, don't complain about that. We have a house over our head and we can fall asleep in our own bedroom. And that is a huge blessing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it was tough.
Yeah, it was multiple cleanings
Yeah.
inside and then even outside because of all the debris. We had the house power washed. I mean,
I feel like every time I saw you guys, it was another cleaning that you had just finished.
Yeah.
And I remember just like being like, wait, what?
You
just
cleaning
did
it again? How clean do you need it?
Yeah, I was like, oh my
trust
goodness.
me,
I
it got
know.
dirty again.
I know.
Yeah. No, that is a lot.
And
Yeah.
I think to your point, even someone like yourself who has lived through it and been displaced, and even that's surprising to you.
Yeah.
And to people that don't live in Altadena,
Yeah.
I think they're really surprised by all the overwhelming steps and
Yeah.
things that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think because there's such a different story in it. Like to know your house survived and the relief, guilt, blessing of that, but also then the process of that is different from someone who lost their home, who like right away knew like I have to find a new place to be. I
Yeah.
have
Right.
to do this. I have to do this. Like, whereas for you there was so much like we should clean again, or are we going to clean again? Like, when do we get our stuff back? Like, what is? So I feel like the timeline is all like
Yeah.
And judgment calls as to like how
Yeah.
safe is safe for
Yeah.
us. We had
Yeah.
some neighbors that are, like I said, didn't even move back till August or September.
We still have neighbors that haven't moved back.
Yeah.
And I understand they're vulnerable or they have small children.
Yeah.
We don't know if there's lead in the,
Like the soil testing.
still.
And we
it's-
just kind of made peace with, okay, they tested that house 3 houses
Yeah.
away from it. It's mostly healthy.
Yeah.
We're going to take that as healthy
Yeah.
and just be okay with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a big piece about. So maybe walk us through that a little bit. Like, because you're obviously different personalities. So like, I tend to be a little more of a hypochondriac. So I feel like my like threshold of like, is this clean or not, is very low. Like, but for you, like, how have you processed that a little bit? And is there any like any parts of this that you want people to know? So like, if they ask you how you're doing,
Yeah.
it feels like such a loaded question.
Do
and
you
I
really
don't-
want to know?
Yeah, and then like you have to try to find ways to say it without like too much, but like
Yeah.
I just also need you to know this. So like
Yeah.
what's something in this whole process that you do feel like it would be really helpful for people to know about your story, about when you are asked the question, how are you? Here's the real answer.
I mean, just that we're still going through it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's more contractor vans in my neighborhood than residential vehicles every single day.
Mhm.
And whether it's like remediation that is happening, or they're fixing a roof or a fence that had to get fixed because it got blown over. Also, like, I don't know if it's a phantom smell, but my water still smells a little funny to me. And they told us to replace our hot water heater because of some of the sediment that can collect.
Yeah.
Like, am I poisoning myself when I drink, or is it okay? You know, so that's in the back of my mind every day.
Yeah, and there's always a certain level of concern for me, for sure. Like air quality. I mean, we have air filters going most of the time.
Thank you, vintage.
Yes.
I don't want to hear that word again. Done. Air purifiers.
I know. So they're going, and there's just always this concern of like, even though the debris has been moved, like what is still in the air? Because there's so much asbestos. And where we lived, the Altadena hardware store wasn't that far away. You can just imagine what burned in a hardware store.
And not to mention all the homes that were built pre-1940. I mean, it's all stuff they don't use anymore for good reason.
So, and then we still don't really have a community at all, right?
Yeah.
So we have grocery outlet as our store, and maybe 2-3 restaurants. They're starting to come back a little bit, but not really. And I used to take walks all the time. I would just get up and go. And I can't, one, because just visually it's really upsetting, but then also just the air quality. Like I did take one the other day, and when I got back, like when I would do a deep breath, it actually hurt. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem right.
And every time it rains, you smell it again. I don't know if you guys
I'm
have
always
noticed that.
smelling it, Carla. Because you know what? So even though we cleaned, this is the weird thing. So even though we cleaned, like our house was like I mean, we cleaned it. Our house has never been that clean ever, because it got cleaned so many multiple times. But what we couldn't clean was the what's the place underneath? The crawl space. Right? It's just, it's like we have a California basement, but it's dirt. Like, how do you clean dirt? So I really think like ash and stuff got under there still. And so I do smell it still.
Like on the hot days in the summer, you could smell this faint, smoky, charred smell.
Wow.
Probably so I don't know how to clean dirt. I don't know. Maybe somebody can invent that one.
And some of the businesses in Altadena, we really want to support them, but you know, we're a small percentage of what the population used to be. Probably like a good 7,000 to 8,000 people aren't there anymore.
Probably
and
more.
So, you know, that was a large part of their clientele. So, you know, and like I said before, it's not a pass-through neighborhood, so people aren't driving by and saying like, oh, that restaurant's back. Let me go have dinner there. People don't realize it. So just remember the businesses up there, and you know, come give them some business so we can
give them some love.
have a
so you guys can see
again.
cars other than contractors up there.
Truly.
People that walking around. Okay, what I want to like phrase the next question, but what part of the process would you say you're in now? Like where you can phrase it in a way that people can pray for you. Like how is something specifically people can step into your story and pray for you right now in this part of the process?
I think for me is that that the community finds wholeness again, and not just developers, because that's my fear too. There's a lot of individuals and families that were impacted, that lost their homes, that didn't have insurance, those generational homes, a lot of elderly people who just, I don't blame them. They don't want to build again. So initially you kept seeing like Altadena strong, Altadena not for sale. Now you're like, for sale. I see a lot of for sale signs popping up. And so just praying that the right, like people come and purchase that property, not with ill intent, but to really make it a community again, and an affordable community.
It was a very diverse community. And you know, it was artsy, it was funky. It was people that, you know, their grandma or their great grandma bought the home back in the 60s, and that's what we grew to love. And it's not going to be that anymore, but we hope and pray and would ask for prayers that you know, it still maintains a diversity, and you know, there's working class people, there's wealthy people, there's artsy people, and that you still have an interesting, you know, group of people that live there. I would ask that you pray for us, and I've described where we're at right now as kind of like a desert. You know, it's the not yet, because we're out of the crisis, but now we're just waiting for it to be rebuilt again. And we know that, we keep hearing 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years. So we know it's going to be a while, and we're kind of doing the math, like, how much can we take? Can we make it, or are we going to throw in the flag, and move? And we don't know, but until we know, we would just ask for prayers of resilience, calm in our weaker or anxiety-ridden moments, and just discernment about, not to do anything rash in our weaker moments. And, it's like, that's it, I'm out of here. But, we got 2 girls in college too. So, them coming and going, they don't have the neighborhood that they grew up in anymore. So there's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot to hold. What is, what's something maybe that you would have done differently in this process?
Can
I ask that question?
Have a more organized go bag. I mean, you hear that all the time.
Oh,
and, no matter how organized you are, you're not going to be organized enough once your adrenaline spikes and you get panicked.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the essentials, your passport, this and that, and your animal, but your clothes. But then there's the gray area stuff that you're going to hem and haw about. It's like, do I take that artwork that my kid did in 3rd grade? Do I take that artwork that is personal to me, but the rest of the family doesn't really care about? Or
how much do I fit in the amount of time that I have?
You're going to forget
take it serious.
things.
Take it serious. We can't control the weather, but we can control how prepared we are.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you guys have ever had to evacuate because of a fire?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We've come
we
close.
opted to. I mean, we did like the station fire when we went south. So we've done it just because of the smoke. But this was the first time that we've ever had this experience, and hopefully the last.
I know, Santa Anas are coming.
I know, every time
I know the wind is so triggering.
It is triggering.
I hate it.
I still can't light a candle. I mean, I can't be near open flame. No.
You don't know how much she loved Yankee candles.
Oh, yeah.
I know all that, especially during the fall right now with all like the apple harvest candles.
Oh, I know.
I keep waiting, but no, not yet.
No, and forget
there
about
are
the
other
fireplace.
ways we can talk about
Yes.
that you can like
Yes.
smell your house without lighting flames. I've gotten
Yeah.
pretty creative.
With all the sticks. The different sticks.
different things. Speaking on that, like obviously there's a big piece of someone's home surviving that doesn't get talked about, the loss that still comes with that. Did you guys have to like throw a lot of things out? Like were you able to keep things? Like how has that process also been for you? Because I want to highlight that because that's real, and there's definitely little pieces like that. Like you've lost the ability to light a candle. Like those are very real, even though your home is standing. So
yeah, I have a lot of insecurity around weather right now, like that, and just that it makes me very anxious, and I get very insecure. Like, oh my gosh, okay, like all the triggers and everything. But what this process has done is it really made me let go of material items for sure. Where once things got cleaned and they were brought back in, I didn't even want a lot of it. I'm like, it's just gonna burn. Why do I want it? This is just simply fuel.
It's real.
And so that's kind of where I am at the moment. I've really kind of become sparse in my living.
A lot more editorial. And we found ourselves, like all those soft goods that were taken off to get cleaned, all the boxes took up my whole garage. When they came back, probably half of those got donated. I mean, it was good they got cleaned so they didn't go to the landfill and somebody else could use them. But we found that if it was something we were holding on for, just because I went to that one concert, but I never wear it because it's a weird fit, gone. Shoes that I might wear once in a blue moon, gone. So now we know if you use it all the time, keep it. But if you're not using it, there's no reason to keep it, because
that's just where I am
in this
right
kind
now.
of a crisis. It's only gonna kind of impede you getting out, getting back in. It's.
But I can tell you, our daughters do not feel that way. I'm like, can I get rid? No, no.
Oh,
not even the maybe pile. Put it in the maybe pile.
No. So I say that just because everybody is very different, and it just depends on what your experience is and what you went through. But for where I am in my life, in this season of my life right now, I'm okay letting go of a lot of things.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a trauma connected to them? Or the connection that you had with it maybe has been broken
that's a good
or
question.
altered?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just, I think where the trauma is for me, literally, I'm like, why do I want that? It's going to burn. Like, I just have this like very, I don't know, it's
and for me, it's like, I don't want to
fatalistic.
It's something I don't want to deal with afterwards, because it was so overwhelming dealing with the contractors and the insurance claim. It's like, okay, I don't need to.
And
deal with
itemizing
that.
everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
They force you to.
One less thing to itemize.
Exactly.
In the future. Yeah. No, I can hold that. I can very much relate to the I don't know, just the difference of some of your stuff before and after, like whatever the reason is behind it. But well, I just want to say thank you for sharing with us your story. If there's anything else that you want to say, like, or if there's anything else you feel like is important for people to know, feel free to jump in.
Just listen to your cat when she wakes you up in the middle of the night.
Is there anything else you would have taken that you didn't take? Like if you were
our daughters actually had asked for some of their artwork, like that they made that was on the wall, and there's like birthday books, stuff that you just don't think about. That where I did the practical thing. That's just who I am. So I took clothes. Ridiculously enough, I even took, it was Christmas, right? So I had things that I was going to return. And so I literally took those with me. I'm like, oh,
meanwhile,
this is coming with me too. Like the silly practical things.
Meanwhile, this birthday book from, an early age.
0, like the day they were born.
They're interviewed every day on their birthday. So it's like as they age, their answers are silly and charming.
Really cute, charming.
Yeah,
Didn't bring that.
Yeah. And I work in animation, so I have all these cells from shows that I've worked on. I kind of felt guilty to pack them in the car because it's a big stack. I did bring my Emmys though. I secretly put a towel over them and put them in the back. I couldn't help it. But
that's fair.
But,
I mean, there was artwork probably because we're both artists. There were a family of artists, art that the kids had made. We didn't take.
It's all too much. So much of it was just stuff too. Honestly, it was the memories, the birthday books, and thankfully a lot of photos and stuff. They're all online now, right, in the cloud, so you can access a lot of those. But I mean, not heirlooms and like other ones. But I don't know what else I would have taken. It was so chaotic.
Yeah,
So.
I mean,
as you
like
know.
she said, you learn that you can live with less, a lot less.
I know, because we lived out of 2 suitcases for months. And
I felt fine.
I grew okay with that. Less choice.
Well, thank you for sharing. I do really appreciate it. Obviously, I've been a part of some pieces of it, but thank you for your honesty and praying for you guys as you recover, as you still recover, as the community recovers, as you kind of navigate whatever's next. So.
Well, we truly appreciate you and Vintage. Vintage was a lifeline to
absolutely.
us. Not only just for the pop-up that you guys did, but just the community. I mean, the moment we came back for that first service, I mean, just scooped in love. And just thinking about it makes me really teary-eyed because it was just such an outpouring of, I mean, this is like truly what church is. It's just like people loving on each other and just being there for you. They don't even know you, but somebody was going to give me the sweater off of their back. Janet. And it was just, I mean, we didn't know each other, and it was just so incredibly kind. So again, Vintage really did propel me and keep me strong through a lot of this. I was kind of kidding when I said I needed church chocolate and Carla, but it really was true. It was the very first thing that I thought of.
Those are some of the best hugs I've had in my life was those first few days.
And just
when we
and with
walk
strangers.
in here. They knew.
It's needed. No, I needed it. So
just being seen and people here are still very lovely and they still ask.
And that goes to show is like sometimes you don't need to offer a solution. It's like just a hug, just be with us, walk with us, and it's the best. It's awesome.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing.